Hello everyone, my name is Lordjan25 and welcome back to another tutorial. So today I will show you how to build this very strange thing that I have built. So now you can see the bedrock layer above you and you are probably thinking, well, he's just standing somewhere really low in his world and he just moved the bedrock layers above, so because it's not possible to build below y level 0. But if I press my F3 coordinates, you can clearly see that I'm standing in the void. And to be exact, at y level -62. That is the lowest possible you can stand. Maybe one block lower, but not more than that. And I will show you how. So, because the rendering is quite weird in the void, I will use my F5 screen to show you how this works. At the moment you can see that I'm standing on top of 6 shulkers. And this method was not discovered by me, but one of the members of the prototype server called EDDxample, whose video will be linked in the description below. The benefits of this base is it's really hard to discover. Even those holes that are created at the bedrock ceiling can be fixed, because in 1.8 versions there was still a chance of getting a bedrock item in vanilla Minecraft, and I will also link a video to that in description. But the other benefits of this, it's really secret, because no one will ever try to fly in the void, because that's really dangerous and really not worth it. And over here I can store different things. So for example, we have some mobs here, like this parrot here, and it's also possible to store other mobs, such as chickens, but for other mobs you will also need some boats, which will be filled with those mobs, and then you will slowly lower them down to this height. And over here we also have some chests, which are filled with items. So you can actually store blocks in the void, which is really quite cool. And the reason we can't go lower is because at y level -64, mobs will start taking damage. And it's really short time that they will live, and that makes it impossible to sustainably live there. So that is the lowest possible, and because the shulkers are facing downwards, that makes their head just be at the lowest possible block that they will not take damage. Over here we have an anvil, and the problem is that we can't use it, and that's because those shulkers are still in the entity form, and when you place land blocks on top of them, those blocks are still in the entity state. So I tried landing sand here and many other things, but they are still acting like entities, so it's not possible to quite build here, but with entities all is possible. In this demonstration I have done a platform of a size of 2 times 3, so that gives us 6 shulkers in total. That's the easiest platform to build, and I can show you that I can freely move around here, and I'm in survival mode, and those shulkers cannot shoot me because in the void mechanics work a bit differently than above me. And you can clearly see that this anvil is in entity mode because I can just clearly walk through it. The only disadvantage of this base is that you cannot place any blocks here, because the game will just not want to place blocks this low in the game. The only way you could expand your base is from the help of the blocks that are legitimately placed, so above the bedrock. And I will show you how I managed to build this base, as well as how to build your own in a bit. But first let me explain how this mechanic is even possible. Before I show you the exact process of building this base in the void, I will show you how the mechanic works. It's really quite simple. So if I just place a shulker here and then get him in the minecart, you can see that he will land on top of this iron trapdoor over here. And when I press this lever, it will dispense him or just leave him fall into the void, and shortly after a TNT will be fired that will be dispensed to the void after a certain amount of ticks have passed. And that will make this minecart explode in the void. And what will happen is that this shulker will need to have some sort of block that he will be able to attach to. But since we are in the void, he will attach to the exact same position that the minecart left him. So let's just see that in action. I will just flip this lever, teleport myself to the coordinates, and you can see the minecart coming and TNT, and that should give us a block. Yes, it did. And that is the block, and I can now stand on it, and it works perfectly fine, even if in game mode 0. You can see that I'm in game mode 0 and I can just perfectly fine stand up here and he won't kill me. Again, link to the original concept created by EDDxample can be found in the video description. But the thing that I have changed from his original concept is that instead of placing one shulker into the void, I can now place 6 of them, forming a platform. And with increasing the timings, I managed to get him as low as possible. Because with his design it was only possible to get him around -43, I think. And with this design I can get him 20 blocks lower, and that gives us the lowest base possible in vanilla Minecraft. So now let's go to the tutorial part of this build. First of all, you have to know that this is not a one-day project, and it will certainly take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's quite dangerous also to do this sort of stuff in vanilla Minecraft, because there's a high chance that you will lose a shulker and have to go to the end to find more. But once you have committed yourself to building this, here is how. You will want to start off by clearing an area over at the overworld, or actually whichever dimension you choose. But in the nether and the end you'll find some bedrock formations at the bottom of the world, and you'll have to clean them up. So remove all the bedrock that is in the way except the very bottom layer. You can then do that by dropping dragon eggs on top of those blocks while they are in the unloaded chunks. And that method is one of the most popular ones to remove bedrock. And once you do that, punch 6 more holes into the bedrock like this. This will allow the shulkers to fall through and form the platform that we'll be building on. Now grab some block of choice for building. I'll just grab some lapis blocks because they were in the inventory, and now just place a ring of them around this build. On the edge of those blocks, place some trapdoors. This will open and allow the shulkers to fall through as well as the TNT. And once you do that, make sure to place some redstone on top of those blocks. And now grab some repeaters and place 4 of them in the full delay mode as shown in the mode here. And those 4 repeaters are now on the full delay, and also be sure to place one on the full delay over here. Grab another block of choice, place it here and there, and now grab some more repeaters, this time not on the full delay but the default delay. Press one, put one here, and then use the redstone to connect those two together, and also one here. Grab some more redstone and place one dust here and one here. Once you do that, you are ready to place the dispenser in. This dispenser will dispense TNT, and it's really recommended to test the system before you place in any TNT. At the end you will want to place an observer facing downwards over here, and one lever on top of it. Once you place the lever, make sure that the trapdoors open. And if they open in the same order that they open in this case, this means you are ready for the next step. Now you can place some TNT inside of this dispenser. Now comes the tricky part, getting the shulkers into their minecarts and getting them transported to any dimension. This part will take the most time of them all, and you will want to go to the end dimension where you'll find an end city and then raid it. Get those shulkers back to the dimension you desire to build this thing, and it can be any dimension. You can build this in the end, overworld, or the nether. But building this in the end would be the easiest because you won't have to move the shulkers across dimensions. but there are always ways you can do that. But whatever method you choose, shulkers will always come in minecarts or boats, but you will want to have them in minecarts because that's much easier to work with. And since we are in the creative world, it's really quite simple to show you guys how this machine would work once you get those shulkers back from the end dimension. For this demonstration, I will just build a small railway which I will use to get those shulkers into the minecarts. And for that, just build a small railway like this, grab some rails, and make sure that the railway is going upwards. Then place one more rail here, and go with the next one, and repeat that process. Repeat this process for the entire 3 blocks. Once you do that, you can place some levers over here to power those powered rails. And do the same thing for the opposite side. And once we do that, it's just a matter of placing a few more blocks above here and here. And whatever you do, make sure that you don't place those levers here like I did, because that will power the entire system and mess with timings and everything. So now we can just start filling up this machine. So place one row of blocks. Here. Then get some shulker spawn eggs. And place them over here. So once you place one shulker in, place a minecart below him, and he will just automatically get pushed into that minecart, and he will just stay in the position where he will be needed. And continue for the entire row. And once the shulkers are in place, make sure that there is some TNT and activate the system. And now if you go to the exact location, you'll be able to see that the shulkers have survived. Now it's recommended to heal those shulkers because they have taken a bit of damage. And you can do that by throwing some health potions from that hole over there, and eventually some of those will get to those shulkers and heal them. But since we are in creative, you can do the same thing from below. But as I stated before, it will work by dispensing them through the trapdoors as well. And once you dispense one row, make sure to change those blocks from this side to this side and get those shulkers in. Now we can do the exact same thing as on that side over here. The only difference is that we will have one row of shulkers already in place, and this one will just fit as in here. And now we have a platform that we can build on. So once we have our platform, we can safely remove all of this building thing. And if you want to cover this, it would be recommended to do so now. But if you want to improve your base with some chests, here is a tip on how to do that. Grab some hopper minecarts and place them where you want them to be. So in my case, I want to place few minecarts like this, and make sure to remove that TNT because that will blow the entire system up. Then just press this lever and the shulkers will just stop those minecarts, and you will have some storage now in your void base. There will be also a world download available to this, so if you guys would like to check this world in a greater detail, you can do so. But that is all I had time for today. Thank you all for watching. This has been LordJohn25, and I will see you in the next video.